down there and get out of the way. Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay.
You mentioned suits and wraps.
Suits and wraps?
In case anybody doesn't know what those are. What are they? What are they for? And shirts? Just in case.
Sports suits in our organization is a single ply suit. And I'm really glad that this organization has just a single ply, because in the event that one day that we can have this sport in the Olympics, this organization will be the first adopted federation to go to the Olympics because of the equipment that we use. It's minimal compared to the other organizations. So the knee wraps are the specified length, so you can't use 1 or 2 feet longer and get a couple extra wraps. So they're really careful of the equipment that we use in the organization. So you'll have a choice of 3 or 4 manufacturers that will make the suit, and the shirt, and the knee wraps. So you do have choices out there. Different designs that work with your body type. When you find one that you're comfortable with. Being tight is not always an advantage. For example,
you don't have your wraps with you.
I had
oh, actually, yeah.
I used to wear a very tight suit when I first started.
I have my black line ones. I have my black line ones, yeah.
And I took standing on the top of the bench to get that strap on. Once I got that thing on there, now you put about 100 pounds worth of strap on one side and 100 on the other. You go out there and take your weight out. You got 200 pounds of force pushing you around before you get to the weight. So when you take the weight out of the rack, you're going, holy mackerel! Why is this so heavy? I've done this in the gym before. All the forces of those straps. The other thing that they do is, if you have a really tight strap, is that when you start your normal descent, it's fighting against you. So it will force you out of your natural groove. So I use a suit with a loose strap. Because the only place I really need help is out of the bottom. The bottom. Because from here, most of you guys can take 600 pounds and move it like this. Right? Okay. Now you're not going to move from down here. So I use the suit for here. For here I use the suit. And then my legs will take the rest of the weight. It's not a problem. So I use a loose strap.
The torso still tight?
Yes. But that's preferred for my style. So when I come out, I take out my opening attempt. Usually very confident that the suit wraps are going to work fine. I'm not going to fight with the equipment. It's going to flow with me. So when I descend, I don't have the suit fighting me until I get to my right here. And that's quite quick anyway, so it just goes up, I'm up, you know. So,
yes, Tom. The advanced lifters, you can send your suits back to insert tight or whatever and have them adjust, because like the USAPL, you can't have both flaps. They can actually cut them for what you want. So I always suggest if you're going to get a new suit, get one 2 months earlier. Try it on, say, hey, it's going to work. And then have time to actually mail it back to Texas, wherever you got it, get it back, and say, hey, this works great. But what he's talking about, I've adjusted all my suits, taken them, adjusted, and what he says, that's the gospel on that.
well, I'll show you something about.
I got my wraps right here and the belts right there. I don't know if you want it, so about the whole bag.
One of you fellows asked me about my shoes. And I use a 1/2 inch heel. I use a 1/2 inch heel. The flat shoes, like the Louis Simmons stuff, if you squat out here, well, that's fine. Okay? But if you're a normal squatter, you just have like a normal width, it's advantageous to have a little bit of a heel, because a heel holds your back straighter up. It's like, if you remember doing front squat, your feet are elevated like this. You come down almost straight. That's because your heels are elevated high. So in order to help you in the squat, you take that same principle and you just use a half an inch. For me, it's a half an inch. So my heel's a half inch higher than the normal class. The other thing that I do, look at my belt. You see those notches? Okay, what these notches are for is I was having a little bit of a problem. Binding on my hips. Okay? So I notched the belt to suit my body type. Okay? When I'm down here, you don't have the line. Yeah, I can hit the squat. This doesn't bother. So I took that little section out. I don't know, very few people have ever done this. If you ever feel the bind, you may need to do the opposite. You may need to do it on the top side to keep the pinching the grip. But it's just things to consider as you go along. You might consider doing this. Yes.
Having these straps loose up on top when you want everything else tight, is that all in ordering and trying to?
Well, actually, most usually they come pretty loose. So you go. I know the engine straps. Now what they've done with the straps is made them wider. Okay. The wider it is, the looser the suit's got to be to keep you in your groove. Now, if you use a super tight suit with a really wide strap, all that means is that as soon as you start to descend, that suit's already working way up here. If you need it way up there, well, okay. But it also means that by the time you get down to the bottom, you really stretch that turkey out because it started stretching for that entire distance. Okay? So maybe you'll squat a little bit more. Or maybe you'll fall over. Maybe you won't even break parallel because it's so tight that you can't get there. So you have to determine, the suit to suit yourself and the way that you squat. You really should be comfortable when you squat. I know it's kind of a funny thing to say, you have tight knee wraps on, or tight suit, but when you get the equipment on correctly, it really does feel comfortable. It should.
That's comfortable. What kind of suit do you use, sir?
I use Ninja Hardcore. And I've also used Titan. I've had very good success with Titan. I think I'm using a Titan in the next picture. Maybe in both, I forgot. Probably Titan in both of them, I think. I just recently switched over to Ninja suit. I spent about a year playing with it before I decided that this suit was going to work for me. So this is really something to do in a couple of weeks. Any other questions?
I don't know if you went over this while I was gone, but belt position in the squat as opposed to the deadlift.
Excuse me?
Belt position in the squat as opposed to the deadlift.
There's a few people that turn the belt around. My friend Robert Cortez. Those also. And that's just to keep the buckle away from you.
Yeah.
Because it's doubled at that point.